Good evening. Nasi program asida lingsin biriba ozasing amadi Facebook ki live ki kuthang da yeng biriba mayang pumna makpu People's Campaign for Resurgent Manipur PCRM gi maikai dagi aham ba maktada ikoknona khurumjari. Before we start the program, I would like to take this opportunity to share a little bit about People's Campaign for Resurgent Manipur PCRM. So PCRM was founded in 2011, and it was an initiation by a group of citizens who were and are concerned with the prevailing state of affairs in the state of Manipur. We had some primary objectives, of which some primary objectives, if I have to mention, would be to cultivate a culture of informed conversation and debate around social and political issues, and also to make the political class, the public institutions, and our leaders accountable to citizens, as well as the range of social issues that the citizens face. And electoral politics and election is a major part of it. So PCRM's major challenge was to intervene in 3 consecutive state assembly elections. Therefore, in run-up to the upcoming General Assembly elections, PCRM is planning to organize a series of panel discussions, lectures, and interviews on various social and political issues, where we would invite experts and commentators on social and political issues. So to start this month-long journey, today we have a discussion on public issues and electoral politics, reflections on the forthcoming Manipur State Assembly elections, where we have our esteemed panelist, Oja R.K. Nimai, retired IAS, and Oja Pradip Phanjoubam, who is the senior editor. And to moderate today's panel discussion, we have Dr. N. Surjitkumar, lecturer, Department of Political Science, Indira Gandhi National Tribal University. So to proceed with the program, I would like to hand over to our respected moderator, Oja Surjit.
Good evening, respected panelists and the members of PCRM, Kamo, Bimol, and others. Ngasigi aikoigi discussion asigi team that aikoi kanonasu babinasu already haibikre public issues and electoral politics. Reflection on the forthcoming Manipur State Assembly election, which is due in early February 2022. So we all know that we have lots of issues. And before I start with this, I would just introduce our 2 renowned panelists, which I don't need to introduce to others, but I just want to mention first Dr. R.K. Nimai, retired IAS, who is very renowned and very popular figure, and everyone knows in different panel discussion, including ISTV and other popular TV channels. And second one, Pradip Phanjoubam, who is also renowned journalist and editor of Imphal Review of Arts and Politics. Ahanbada ay yambung Dr. R.K. Nimai da adum pen discussion oina question ama katang hangjage aduga yambung na ikoi ngasai hariba question na sida adum answer oina pibiraga matang damuk tamo Pradip Phanjoubam da hangjage. We all know that Manipur has lots of issues, especially in social, political, and economic arenas. So in the forthcoming elections, Manipur State Assembly elections, we will have a very good fight among different political parties. And only important concern for this panel discussion is how to reach the issues and how to resolve the issues in the public domain. So the first question to Dr. R.K. Nimai is, what according to you are the three most important issues of public importance in Manipur today? Yambong.
I will highlight only one, which I think is the most critical call. The ID administration, the Yamsang, I say, Contramari administration, the Laser the ins and outs of the thinking of the government and how they do the business. I am aware of it. A Manipur, quite a issue, the utter lack of governance. Governance, connect later with them. Example of 1980s get away new public management ki si lai kan se da India da su asoba economic reforms ga kari ga laktana adigi mathang laktana right to information ga kari ga mayam si lai ada Manipur da na change haibase prithvi universe da change is the only suleng leng da badum daibase adugo Manipur da unfortunately change is not happening. We are trying to resolve issues 21st century issues 19th century tools settle bureaucracy bureaucracy civil service MCS IS from all disciplines once administration we have to be aware of the public administration public administration basically I am a student of science I did biochemistry ki chhatra ne adubu akoina sarkar da changa training tawre tawo kan sida public administration ge like pai adigi Samuelson ge economics ki adum pai tawraga adigi public finance ki like later adum pai kaigino haiba kanda when a decision or policy what is happening around the world unfortunately economics solos one model of economic growth advice bureaucracy population increase model the modified sala model ka haiba consider the Kangdrev. Aduna Hauzik Ano Bogi Prithip the Honga Eva. New public management get a la Eva, market economy determined Taura Eva, Koda Eva, Mayamasi, aware with we are totally oblivious of what is happening around the world. Ha Nagi Sidish the Sumsatpa. When you put the lady issues Mayam, Hybertareko. Masigi issue mayam sidesira kanana issue si hang queen unsettled token lehaloga so faster to hola ibasiki reason the governance in a son betegine matam sana tackle tokaba appropriate tools is another tackle tokaba kotaba mayam sini akoigi Manipur haina bama lady sini akoigi dimana toraga di Antolon Torga Pilot with the Sarkar, the Suko, what is Hati, Hibase. That is the train Namakak layable. Unfortunate way. Proactive Oibagi is Susima Kayakana with the late. State much alive with the Fuzing forward many of the bureaucracy and even the ministers. The Kali was Sargaka, which are later going on. At the Saga like Tragedy, I think the way at the Hibagi concepts of how the clear way they were my family run down ribbon. City saga like the chatting to city yati, I was a kung there. I don't know. It's good to be Sarkar, which I later doing or Haidana Kanbaki, bureaucracy and the political leadership city, the young Kanda lady. Masi Madugi understand to the beginning how to increase our revenue. Revenue later the successfully activities me amamoto we as aina tamjaning is in a ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ bureaucracy-ꯅꯁꯨ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ political leadership-ꯁꯦ they are so ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ inured to new ideas ꯃꯣꯏ ꯀꯔꯤꯝꯇ ꯆꯪꯗꯦꯕ ꯃꯣꯏꯗꯤ ꯈꯪꯖꯔꯛꯄ ꯈꯔꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯆꯂꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯑꯣꯡꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯩ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯂꯥꯛꯏꯕ change ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯈꯣꯠꯄ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ understand-ꯁꯤ ꯁꯨꯛꯇꯧ ꯇꯧꯗ꯭ꯔꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯩ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯤꯊꯤꯕꯤꯗ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯤꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯑꯗꯩ even ꯄ꯭ꯔꯤꯊꯤꯕꯤ ꯇꯣꯛꯄꯤꯈ꯭ꯔꯣ ꯑꯇꯩ states like ꯅꯪꯒꯤ Gujarat-ꯇ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯕ ꯇꯦꯂꯪꯒꯥꯅꯥꯗ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯕ ꯁꯤꯛꯀꯤꯝꯗ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯕ even ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ neighboring state of Mizoram-ꯗ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯕ Goa-ꯗ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯕꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ understand ꯇꯧꯗꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯒꯤꯗꯤ governance-ꯀꯤ issue-ꯁꯦ tackle ꯇꯧꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ problem ꯑꯌꯥꯝꯕꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ solve ꯇꯧꯒꯅꯤ ꯈꯜꯂꯤ ꯑꯗ ꯑꯩ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯝꯇ ꯊꯝꯖꯒꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ 2017-ꯒꯤ election-ꯒꯤ ꯃꯃꯥꯡꯗ Congress-ꯀꯤꯅ manifesto ꯐꯣꯡꯉꯦ BJP-ꯒꯤꯅ vision document ꯑꯃ ꯐꯣꯡꯉꯦ which supplement ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ substitutes the manifesto. Not a single person from the parties or even from the government. These are the promises or assurances we have made. See how we are going to fulfill the and they are this concern. Karigano Haibakanda, elections, it was never foreign issues. It was all foreign personalities and make believe ki world now. Aduna Surjitkumar question ji aina reply piba ahamagi oina aina haja taragadi quite a solve issue which Manipur is facing and which will determine whether Manipur will ultimately be put under Article 360 by declaring financial emergency. How you say machine haidana ai thamsege.
Thank you so much, Yambung, for your very thoughtful idea. Ngasagi akhoi Yambung na habi kiba hoi aina budi issue ahum haijabane adubu issue amasida adum ayamba issue ahum dulai cover tawbra haina aina khanjare. Thank you, Yambung. Mathangi
complete way na khanjabane.
Adum habidi issues ama khatang hairagasu adum it covers almost all the aspects of ngasai issue mayam do loina cover tawbra haina su aina su logjare mathangi ani suba kano koi round amuk atopa ai adum kano amamuk yamung da lakjarake mathangda ekhoi gi ani suba da laibiriba panelists tamo Pradip ta ai chap manaba wang se adum hangjarage ngasai aina haijakhiba yamung nimai da su haijakhiba. What, according to you, are the three most important issues of public importance in Manipur today? Haibasida, as I tamor Pradip Phanjoubam su issue yaragadi ahum khatang hojik Manipur gi laiba Manipur today hai tarine ko selection laiba issue mayam sida quite maru aba important issue ahum khatang tamor nang tang thambiragadi yam nuajagani.
Thank you. Ahum boina tuan thambi hotas muksai Yambung Moderator is stream of thought like in the big one. Some organic governance is important. Governance is pivotal. We Lebakam Pan consider governance. The same economy is labor resources man see redistribute of the Aduga resources man see might optimally utilized out again. Aduga beneficially optimized utilize so to get Sarkar governance key authority of Chole. So they have Kitang had taught me a constraint of governance is where it's going to be no hires. Where consider individual vision like what people say. I don't know that the superstructure is where because they rank moves of the Kopi Sarkar Sana Magi own genius Sinaraga out of the box thinking can how much is that permitted? Permitted law the structure retopia to be put fairly branch I explained those Aquina Labak Ama Noire has which are water reports later. Okay, Horiba Naharon since the Magi aspiration, Magi ambition maps. Might owe the Masi ambition see prematurely scribe about prematurely say unattainable or heavy or concerned about aduga ambition si anything is possible hai wa kan khalan se kind khalan de hai si to kan se ko sarkar suna akoi governance hai ta koi pra structure state structure is koi si short ho ge adida aina sum ujal da koi Manipur mo lebak tadi kitang soi ba leba structure is soi ba koi chana da hai ta koi bulak kyo ne sila kan se one size fit all program in sila kan se koi se chana da pot labor ankle ada quite is also is get da asi hai ding the mama de sai na hai ba load me me si ambition gi pos si mata na kan se da youthful aspiration me si mai do na alive hin de hai kan se da we need to invigorate the economy to kan se da hai sa koi si aina ai passion aduga ai livelihood of tan kan se da if it aligns with my passion then it becomes the best option aina anjari po chung ga ai livelihood short already ma ai chung ba feel the hen chokot na bi hen chokot da chokot ke hen to so in no jo myaw ni masanam chokot pe pos le ka do si phion se quite hanga de hes hai di aina nahamala kan se da tasen har ga di akoi gi livelihood akoi job assurance da ina ha de maina any particular sita to thabak se already to charani ada changi heaven ta aina panjab thabak changjara ga ai means livelihood means so to short of the any highway wakan je maino khalan de ha kan se ina sa have circuit swim post akoi sida yenga sida main to geda akoi gi lebak study sarkar ki thabak in la kan se sarkar thabak ki pon le sarkar thabak le kan se da yam chaw imbalance am le hen thok re ko di ho imbalance ke la koi some example when the low kan se da koi private school da jaw be sing siga aduga government school da jaw be sing siga tolop si kam kheni yam bi yeng se khena kan se da dum sinum takchare first choice will be sarkar thabak to wain just credit chap kan se kai da ge chap su kai de se to lo ni sarkar thabak tu adu bo le holi thabak sing su they should be respectable they should be able to meet my needs and my aduga respectively and put you on a good state in society adu ngaman sina faidi cho pandam kon to prank le ko ni naron sigi sai hai ba monda inner fire do mulhan le har ge adar ge ina saka to thong cha hor ge constable or CI more CI saka to mo di chang ge di first of all it's so much untapped potential will be there in the job aspirant ina panjaram po tu manadra ge school to om chang na ai aspiration ai own genius to realize all the to khrane adama I thawam to kraga I karam le raga yum saraga adlu sing pom le dai ne panjab le sang raga dai ne sei sapor panjab chang le sang re hero nadra sports panjab chang re hero sei sa dum mi in ya po de jahedi aina my challenge will be myself aina ngasi adu tang me thai ngat to ge ro khonam khanjab ngami adu tan aina sai low skilling but steady and secure job chang gan ready I don't challenge myself. I don't grow anymore. I don't grow too much. I grow to a certain ceiling. I am nothing to promotion lani increment lani. Adegi here a khandra cancer our society stagnates. I get the my that mediocrity is quite high. That mediocrity I consider sarkar labor mediocrity. It's a definite ceiling. You can't rise beyond certain point. But adegi mediocrity is much higher than what the people in the open are. So the people in the open are not actually given that option to actually be what they are. But they will be aspiring to be a government servant. And in the process, there are two problems. One is the government cannot take in everybody. Okay, as many employees, say about 60,000, direct employees, 60,000, 70,000 hero. So maximum MRP, 1 lakh the 1,50,000 for your direct employees. What about the rest? 30 lakhs 1 lakh employee of consider. We don't have an answer for that. I think answer I think governance key main gonna say challenge, one of the biggest achievements will be in giving that hope to the rest. I think it's the biggest challenge it'll be the biggest achievement anybody who does it. It's a chunk cancer. Adana aina see I cancer the Yengan society is what example in the power is the road least travel can make road crossing in bird and so the Sorgani Langas the Hani Chatal limits absolutely store let me show you. I do the least travel sort of seconds I discover more and I realize my potential much more and I may fail which I'm late. I can I know what discovery Bagi man the I know what part the Tomagi Posiamly. Sida Kuna Manung safer and secure you don't actually end up discovering more, wanting to rise more than where you are permitted. I did put like the example for example, Mallory and Ringa Everest Moina, they're supposed to have climbed Mount Everest 10 years ahead of Hillary Clinton, Hillary Tenzing Norge, Manik, 950 10 years ahead. Moina, I need a car, current, I said, Moina, very poor equipment, Everest Carsi, impossible, Kalimatan. Otherwise, they wanted to plan. The Kamagi press conference, pressman, my response. My response to probably Mina Henakans, company. It has stayed as one of the most iconic statements. Everest because it is there. I have to see it. It is there. See, Naharon Hori was saying, Naharon that Prajamayam because it is there, I have to discover more, I have to see more, I have to realize my full potential. I walk in the country with the Torah. I did my Sarkagi, say, MR Pedalina Mahandore, possible listening go, I consider there will be a cover since the low, very low, and the topic and low chapter. So the other professions are not worth it having that is the only ambition I have. So that ambition is actually limiting us. I don't know, we have to grow the economy in a different way, nurture the economy in a different way. And in fact, the duty of people in the government service is actually to enhance the rest of the population outside of, or rest of the economy outside of the government. I'm safe, I'm taken care of. I will now take care of my children so that they can be in my position. We are not growing bigger and we are not ambitious. We are not seeing beyond that ceiling. We just want to be safe, and that safety is also as Yamung also hinted that safety of stagnancy is not a very safe situation, because when the ground reality changes, that inability to change, that status of being stuck at one position only can be very dangerous for the society as such, and we are not able to overcome that danger. We're not even able to see outside of that, outside, and realize that there is danger if we don't change. If we are not able, if you're not malleable, if you're not flexible, if you just remain rigid to one customary kind of outlook to the economy, to livelihood, to our life in general, I think that is a very big kind of danger that we are putting ourselves into. That we are actually in literature. There is a writer, George Eliot. She has written a book called The Middlemarch, and it is actually about this, that you are just that Middlemarch can be a very secure position, that you don't go outside your given assignments, and you just stick to what is prescribed for you, and then end your life that way. It's a positive kind of a cycle, that you are a pumpkin, you just be a good pumpkin, and then make your children be also pumpkins, but you're not looking at the other options of discovering more in the world, the infinite, and the possibilities are infinite, but of that infinity, we are just confined to a certain sphere, and the sphere has become our world. I think that's the biggest danger that we are in. Let me, in the first round, let me end here. But if you want to probe me more, I can. I don't know if I have given you three answers and all that.
Oh, thank you, Tamo. Tamogi yamna akhoi thoughtful ideas share to bibagi namak. Maruaina Tamo na akhoi ngasagi role of youth and job assurance. Not only the government job, there are many avenues where the youths of the state Manipur can go ahead. Aduna ngasagi Tamo na habi kiba akhoi government gi job katang na government gi job wai katang low da bahai atopa entrepreneurs even in Manipur also akhoi hojik yamna very good young entrepreneurs are also there in Manipur. Aduna ngasagi government gi job se katang na tan atop avenues lay have se message na Tamo gi maroi ba kanoni
A little beyond that, I'm saying something else also. What you're saying is what I said, but also something else. That the existence of the government job structure is actually killing the other initiatives. It's not just a question of something not being available, it's actually killing. We're losing a lot. I do talk to that's a major challenge. We have to lift it, not only because of giving livelihood, but opening out that ambition. That ambition is open. I can be anything. I inclination madungina, I passion madungina, I can pursue anything and have a good life and also climb the social ladder. Otherwise, walking to PB Academy actually, they become much more vibrant. There will be much more fire in their belly, which is not happening in Manipur at the moment. We cannot think of somebody like Elon Musk coming up from us because that challenge is no longer encouraged in our society.
Okay, Tamo, thank you. Akhoi Anisuba second round of panel discussions today akhoi amuk yambung Nimai amuk laksi ngasai yambung na panbi khiba akhoi most important issue lack of governance. Ngasai lack of governance ki issue mayam yambung Nimai na habi khre adai da kamai na ngasai issue sina how that particular issue will have a place in the forthcoming election. Hadim akoi marui banga si thim sing sai la iba forthcoming Manipur State Assembly election due in 2022 early 2022 is due iba koi elections dengan sai high riba issues na how and why ngasai kamaina ngasai issues na kamaina la iba elections da marui be role ma lo da ge have tang tang thambi
aina ngasi article of People's Chronicle non-capitalization of talents in sports that is basically for sports but it can be expanded to any discipline when there is a value of a particular vocation or a particular profession other professions se tanai see whether he is competent or not, whether he has the characteristics to be a good doctor, and even mediocre students found the doctor because the Manipuri society put a very high value to the medical profession. Madugi matang da ina izabani Flynn Flynn effect Flynn na haramani capitalization of talents man first on the first when he used opening aduga Flynn effect mayam se khangbi du ne ba for the last 20th century is the mayang general IQ system chung hengal 3 points ki the reason aduga 100% it is environmentally impact of better education people better health opportunities mayam sina IQ system increased the IQ for every decade there is a growth of about 3 points. I Flynn effect like this. That can be applied to all profession that one apply to we I the Manipur unfortunately both the issue we never go on issue. We go on personality and the person who can spend a maximum amount of money. That is the tragedy of the Indian democracy. Magi manifesto or what is known as the vision document. Are they able to fulfill the promises they have made? That's a question of the hung there. Very unfortunate way. And the question is hung the banana. Sarkar is interest low there. The unfortunate way was the party Sarkar government subservient parties. The Luker party Sarkar we have made these promises, you have not fulfilled issues later because everybody has now become a chamchagiri to the man in power. Issues it is not going to have any impact on the general election. The Masidi academic circle the meet the Kambu na Kanabewa the me Boti XYZ. The difference of like every individual see Magi franchisees someone of Mina. What do the impact like the Yamna I know bought see a head however when I put a root from with the gay I was except for 2 elections where I was outside the state for my education. Sideshida in Uber Sideshida. Issue based. I'm one for the order. Set 3. Issue the set the banana. I'm going to put on the high regasu. Seat of one of Fagani, seat of one of Fagani, high Sideshida. So long. Yam the level TBC RTI X lack record 2005 Right Information Act 2005 that is accountability and transparency for hiring the Manipur the information see despite the State Information Commission directing the department to furnish the information Moina appeals at lab. The way they know that they will lose in the High Court. So that they are making it so difficult. The process is made so difficult that common men do not access information. Sigi wakalon jineba. They have got a totally negative attitude toward transparency and accountability. The accountability and transparency later the corruption is the breed and the corruption is the bane. I article the corruption is very easy. You go around, see how many palatial houses are constructed by the government employees and by the politicians. Fix them. Manipur is such a small society. Kanana kari tori like Hanakani. Me Lakontra, the two Mutang Lavani, and holding power with me, I am, which is like Hanadia. And Akwagi Sitaneva, utter lack of governance and anything I did say. That we have not even made an effort. The Hodik change me am like echo, Hodik AI na AI na article equal ultimately away Pradip way away the Pangaroidum, the Kala, the AI articles Akan, the Matuni and a panning in a Haraga Woogie situation love me. The youth sedation the cryptocurrency, like what are the advantages and disadvantages of cryptocurrency? But the current can be the our education is so outdated, utterly irrelevant to the real world. Mashi Mayam see Uber consider ID Manipur see I colleague Amanadi Imanavamadi. It's a mediocre state. It's a failed state and a hiding Manipur. The killer of a film sedation. The economy, the county, the county, Maya, a quite add Yamatamda. For Shivadi, a quite no idea. I was he a quite late driver. Where a quite hurricane, infant mortality rate, we are very good. But traditionally, it is a traditional strength never. It is not because of the efforts of the government. infant mortality rates here quickly hard one didn't lack now and the maternal mortality rates here hard our ladies and our kids are very robust now adu khangdana sarkar ta we mong da we agriculture da hare akoi adu tauri akoina akoi sri method adu adana pusale hare si it is not by the effort of the government it is by individual entrepreneurs or farmer representative in ever Manipur huji si urea phang de hai kan many people are using nano urea because it is cheaper and it is easier to apply and to calibrate over the lie aduna people the innovative way but the only problem is that we are not making it into an environment where innovation is cultured and respected my babki attitude today is the unfortunately lady election gi da lakpa kan se da ai election gi debate si to kan da adu mayam adu khangbiramani what is the quality of the debate amaga hunaraga chainaraga tokpa ngaktane no parties or no individual goes into the actual debate karino phava phataba moina udiva what is the vision of Manipur and how we are going to do to attain the vision asigumba amata TV the khangde khabar the khangde to matam sida it is a gutter level ge debate never tawna dise aduna election the Manipur election is never based on issues it is all based on personalities and money power aduna akoina thamjariba mayam sidi ai election da adu yamna reflect torkani haibasidi ai huji phawgi kya kana thajade adubu the time is already late to ensure that such issues are being made relevant for the election haina ai swain thamjik so ai ge matang sida ai ge second round lo chale
Hello.
atari
Tabi ko.
tai
Sounds am tak na taba. Yam no wajare amo hojeki khoji ngasagi governance ki issue se. Sina tabda khoji issue atopus am laidana economic development adagi development underdevelopment adagi land reforms intercommunity caste sumba mayam sida kitang akhoi live election siga kamaina ani mari len hanba yabagi issue do ada habetanga panbibre yarga
I governance today atai mayam si if we have a good governance it can all be tackled in time
okay
many are intractable problems me but intractable ne haidana faster to honor levi yade we have to bring in an understanding between the various group land reform is our Manipur land revenue and land reform act it is so outdated it has outlived its purpose we still have a classification of Inkhol Tautabi Anganfo and Powder which is totally irrelevant now according to the commercial gi daga lakadamni residential daga lakadamni industrial gi lakadamni mayam si la akan sida akhoi gi law amend torega tax maching revenue land revenue is 10 times that is regarded as a good amendment by the government which is kari haini kariana apigi thingin thingbu ngamdraga nasikong taina na prajada the one bane praja pithati ga dorme amse aduna see study to atopa state ki adagi atopa laiba ki study to baya ba atopa state apai yamna good apai land revenue gi govern to leri nagi Tamil Nadu the present to Karnataka to Punjab ka sidum land revenue yam present to noi gi ꯃꯇꯧꯒꯗꯨꯝ ꯇꯝꯕ ꯌꯥꯏꯌꯦꯕ ꯑꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤꯗ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯁꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯗ ꯇꯝꯕꯁꯤ 100% ꯇꯝꯕꯗꯤ ꯁꯨꯡꯌꯥ ꯌꯥꯔꯣꯏꯕ because ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ tradition and ethos ꯈꯔ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯈꯦꯠꯅꯩꯌꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ cultural aspectꯀꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯂꯩꯖꯔꯤꯕꯒꯁꯦ ꯍꯥꯞꯇ꯭ꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ resentment ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯂꯥꯛꯀꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯁꯨꯜꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯊꯝꯃꯤꯁꯤꯅꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯏꯁꯨ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯦ electionꯗꯗꯤ it becomes totally irrelevant. That is the tragedy of Manipurgi political situation now. ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤꯗ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯁꯤ ꯂꯝꯒꯤ ꯂꯩꯔꯦ ꯂꯝꯕꯤꯒꯤ ꯂꯩꯔꯦ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯃ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯏꯁꯨꯁꯤ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯑꯕ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯐꯪꯗꯕꯒꯤ which is very ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ major issue ꯅꯤꯀꯣ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯐꯪꯗ unemployment ꯒꯤꯁꯦ unemployment ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤꯗ government ꯉꯥꯛꯇꯒꯤ ꯊꯕꯛꯇꯤ no government can provide employment to its citizens 100% people kanamta leiroi but private sector da magi self employment gi kari gi mayam gi opportunities pi ga tamne and people sidai sida akhoi gi de ai khradi am successful oi ko akhoi gi Manipur gi startup ki haibse but ai the article is abani Manipur sarkar se startup ki meaning bhoda understand tawdre na startup ti it markets innovation nangi water storage thing saba that is not an innovation that is a MSME never aduna innovation haidi you can scale up see am thuna scale up tawa madu never innovation aduna Manipur da sahi amada tragas 1329 thawa matamda people are shocked outside the aigi colleague mayam aigi mana mayam high gan are whether Manipur has got a type of innovation and more shock way you know in many of the states big states the startup the funding policy about 200-300 and no bank loan you know the idea put innovator me say popularize the way out there and it's all a venture capitalist na tawga aduna akhoi gi very good policy say Manipur la kan we twist to suit our kari haini manipulation akhoi requirement the suit tawam na tawa akhoi manipulate tawa yana na bagi ama akhoi na tawreba keno da masi pusalai si ai khangna chana ba ai friends relatives mayam gi satisfy tawnam na aduna akhoi gi da aina sum yeng ba 30-40 day they are real akhoi gi startup ni ma company oigadam ni adagi ma gi production scalable oigadam ni it can grow to 100-300% within the next few years madugi si innovation do yaw da badudi akhoi kana deba the innovation ne toraga YouTube te yengaga support sara kana ko innovation ne to that such type of copycat city it should be utterly discouraged masi discouraged to gadam ni madu di apai yaroi and akhoi gi da aina ga saju thamjagi buduni akhoi gi politicians they are not living in the real world they are living in the dreamland amada leibadong taweba ai example na pije ke urea laite urea se phangtre farmer mayam na wala urea ji lei awat pa loi pi ni hai koi dharna tawre ni hunger strike tawraga urea pi on demand tawre ni and they are totally oblivious of reality that is the tragedy name of Manipur ke say the agriculture is such a subject that nang mitra ngani delay to matamda nangi output se handar ko doine it's a calendar business ni see hojik si akhoi gi short duration crop which has a lower yield adunda tradi na August lingba yaru August lan khraga there is no way madudai de ayam pham sala dawni keno da magi panical initiation gi adagi booting gi stage si ising phangaktraba the ing akanda the problem layaba ada mi gi darkar lay matam sidai sidana pidaba ada haibadi lay na haiba this is the classic example of the incompetence of our governance ki systems ki incompetence haigadra adaga aware oidaba haigadra asima layba ada if we have a good governance lairagadi Manipur da layliba problem am say it can't be settled in a year or two but if we start making efforts to settle it well tam na to we say nagi naga peace talk si how long even okay framework agreement is hitar soup le adi amang da torga dia che contract su la sigi keno da okay ki life se black and white amta na te it's all gray ne ba aduna okay di matamama da aphaba system je sei khar la ga aphaba system oroi ma chana roi matamama da yam phate hai ba se matamama da aphaba do ora kane ba hai di madugi okay adapt over the ability to adapt kano da ideas life science ki chhatra ni na adaptation jine quite maru ho je ai ne example on preserve ni dinosaurs they rule the world otherwise 65,000 million years among they vanish the measly cockroach they have been there for the last 350 million years and which is more successful the dinosaur or the cockroach apagi species ki continuation ki harega di the cockroach is far superior to the dinosaur and I yes why harega I second round that's why Surjitkumar jege
Thank you, Yambung. I think all my questions. Haidi yamna pazana marik chumna takui bagire makta Yambung buthaga seri. Mathang daina tamo Pradipta hoi ani suba amadi arroever round ki kenosta panel discussion ki questions daina hangin masing sai tamo na takpi khiba. Hai issue mayamaduna like how that particular issues have a place or how and when why that particular issue duna ngasai forthcoming elections de kamina important place ama important role ama lo ga have tang na thambi
see forthcoming election I think it's not going to matter much we hanagi momentum it'll take much longer otherwise it'll also need a lot more involvement of what is often referred to as enlightened elite, people who believe in that enlightened self-interest. I'm doing this, I'm sacrificing certain things for my own interest. I don't just accumulate everything in my hands. I'm distributing it in my own interest. Change proponga modang kale hajiki election je hane gale momentum hara later define category me am chang le kamina sigi me am silo ya amuk khana overturn to the correct ngam do ma de koi Manipur gi wena de election je kana ka ge hare gi Delhi je power pai ka mu dule to kono hosal laga origin defection mak de so adum power pai ka mu ragle hor ga thaini ai khan bo si ahoi our on the high level Kiva Haida, Manipur, notice about Manipur, this kind of the doctor, suppose. Some higher Mizoram Congress by me, as you move MLF Lakana Congress Cambo, the MLF Legend on some deals. Aduga some the Mizoram state motor haggard, so BGP Pai, BGP is a horse head of there. Say around so Pradesh Manipur, Nagaland of the Ati Siram of the BGP owns a high ground is Hagalagadam. Vote Kaza Chamberlain, some of those you BJP car, Kai and Congress me as the BJP Talo, some the time with the Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh, see rootlessness, Chow Yao, Pigia, and Chow level Tiba Haida. The level Tibo Ergasu, seen a reality or late in the Matin election, the Sinadum Testament of Roma, as you see, Central BJP and Piety, other BJP, Nadum Stan Kalap, Natomale, and the election also, the other elections 100% which predict on what there is. Magi, that's a strong point. I thought Magi, say premiums. BJP that time Kalapum Lego Mali. I think the labor stuff. I generally thought was from Europe. Center can apply. Hajizik Manipur Gita in powers can know. The Mathanikana power pipe, way Malaysian Minister of Chan Pankadra Poladra. Other Mayo Yang, other Maki parameters, other Romali course. Labor the long term, they see correct out of the other. Correct out the Tassinahagati election now I want the Piggy. Bullock, I am have a fail state. Fail state Serapina, Yangan Sida, fail safe people no short term way long term the kind of is a sunken civilization guy to mudkiva civilization guy to other post layers to say na hari na yang kan the history is when geological terms yang kan dinosaur gal to hai aron to historical terms yang kan so he changai manu mai to ba hai kan sa changai manu se kana mud khai yang ba lising manu se kana mud khai yang kan sa jari diamond climate like collapse how civilizations survive or die like as an example on commercial civilization why don't see the Greenland Norseman I see Easter Island statue of those having become wood why don't swallow man we are not seeing beyond immediate beyond the immediate soon with the possibilities the dangerous juncture of the state of the emergency as a civilization, as a recognized cultural entity, as a recognized people with a certain distinctive culture and civilization. Adu how does human mark that having see whereas the Pokum Thorankly see the Pope see Popona the way possible elections we should be near panic now. See the which change the whole was the Mukia have seen. Condom Homatam and Kajana is moved up. Other we change paradigm and like from high cancer so young had artificial intelligence for we talk me actually now sending especially manual jobs man learn about artificial intelligence and the car home while I consider point of I consider there are people imagining different kind of futures. Futures the how do you moderate this? Have questions some very interesting answers. Greece key finance minister Yanis Varoufakis Magilaic later Maggie talking to my daughter about the economy, how capitalism fails and succeeds, and I'm late. My high and why capitalism is failing because we are defining ownership in a different way. Capitalism is the corporation owns everything. Workers may actually they are not participants. The man Haisna is a collective enterprise. So we have to inherit it together. Whatever success that company has, it has to be inherited. Company successful the Mapuzi the whole in the companies. Right? It should be a shared kind of inheritance. I don't know how Manamagi my artificial intelligence I consider all our jobs are replaced, but our incomes will not because we will be inheriting. My artificial intelligence that into they lack of benefit me and it should be shared. We can put our minds to other things, creative things, maybe not about earning anymore, because that will be done by artificial intelligence, which is beautiful, but it may not work because greed is such, and also the greed as well as the selfish elite who are controlling the 1% people who are super rich. They will be defining the laws. They will make all those kind of what they call the legal fictions to ensure that ownership is defined in a certain way, that they will always own those things. Ownership so it's just a matter of legal definition. So it's a fiction, so we can always change it. But that is too far-fetched for us. But immediately, I think we have to tackle first our immediate problems. Corruption tackle the answer. There are two ways, as I see it. One is policing job. Scrutinize over. You do it from the top. The other way is actually to change the economy. Corruption. Why is corruption happening? Why is that happening? Is a basic economic question for if nobody wants to buy that job will have no price. But everybody wants to buy it. There are only few jobs left. But supposing I had alternatives, viable alternatives that jobs which can give me equal prestige as well as equal livelihood, equal salary, or maybe more. Maybe more attractive because I am there in the open sky. In the government, there is a ceiling, and the ceiling is pretty low. I think corruption will die its own death. If there are no buyers, and if I get it, I'll take it. This is also a good job. But if I don't get it, I'll get something else. That job will have no bribery tag on it. If you put up a private tag, nobody will buy it. There's something else I can do. So we have to actually eradicate corruption not just by the policing. Policing is also necessary because some people will do it in any case. Maybe it's not about the job market. It's also about swindling from the bank, whatever. So there has to be policing, but the more widespread and more universal kind of an approach to this problem would actually be to alter the economy, where the job market, especially we're talking about job market and corruption. When you say corruption, we are mostly talking about how people are buying jobs, how bribery works. So if that bribery, the condition in which bribery works, if you remove that condition and replace it with something else, then that bribery itself will become redundant. Then I think there will be much more space for people to think outside the box, people to look for new avenues, people for actually discover more. And as I said in the earlier remarks, that people begin to challenge themselves, not just a set target, but they will begin to challenge themselves. I did something well. I want to paint something more. I want to add more color to this environment, or whatever. The challenge will become yourself, apart from your competitors. There are competitors, but you also start challenging yourself. And that condition is what is necessary for us to actually rise above the rest. Even in sports, I lifted that much. Next time I want gold. I can lift 202 kilos now. I want to lift 210 kilos next time. Challenge. If I'm just stuck there in one job and I'm happy, next year I'll buy a car, and then maybe after that I will add one more room to my house. Maybe your life is taken care of, but as a generational kind of example, you're not doing much. That you are actually helping in stagnating that entire environment. You're putting everything into that. You're becoming part of that middle march, as George Elias said, that you are just happy. Say, like George Elias, I use this, that's why I'm using it. That you're just happy writing bazaar note and getting a lot of money. Just instead of doing something innovative, bringing out new ideas, which is the actual challenge that this guy is a doctor. I remember in that book, long time ago I read it. Doctor was initially very, very ambitious. He was thinking about inventing things, bringing out new ways of treatment and all that. But in the end, the pressures of the society is such, of the family, of the all the pulls and pressures, that he ends up writing bazaar note. He was doing very well, but he was never happy because his original ambition was something else. So what I'm saying is that we have to be working to bring about a society in which that freedom of ambition is given the room to actually grow. And I think immediate elections today. I think we have to work towards that as a community. People with enlightened self-interest. Why should I be doing this? Ultimately, we are doing ourselves damage. See, that enlightenment is about that. So I think we have to make more people think about this. Involvement corruption. There is one more thing. If we are participants, then the corruption will be less. I'm just a part of a vessel which is moving. I just hitch a ride, but I want to get the best seat. And if I'm a participant, if we are pushing that bus together or pulling the cart in turns, then we will try to optimize it. In an example, in physics, we Yokshan Dobby can demo to Gansa the Kai or history. I kind of my kind of story. Kind of Gansa Pehasa over. The Pehasa consider the kind of horror food in Hande, Tanto in Hande. I'm a participant. I am part of that particular enterprise, and I have a stake in it. I was calling among us the Dimana, Toholoeva. Sakai thought of Gandhi, Canada, and we have which anymore. I do need to put open other leking the Pulik and Tori of Miamsina. Because they think it's just you're just hitting a ride. You're not part of that project. I think see posi Kanmangam Kaliwak and Zipra Olanmangam. So I think that's when we really succeed. Adugi posi, I think it's a big challenging thing, and it's also one of those fights for survival. If we don't do it, I think we will not survive. Maybe 1-2 generations will carry on, but we will not move ahead. We'll just be stuck at a certain level, and from there we will not move. And when you don't move and everything else is moving, then you'll be left behind so much that sometimes at some point it'll be actually impossible for you to move any further and live on. You'll have to merge with something else and surrender yourself to some bigger vehicle somewhere else who hits that right. You can't be driving your own independent vehicle anymore. Thank you. Second is my
Thank you, Tamo. Matam se ai pung cam kuina continue to wado no kang aduna pare tamo kui ngasagi tamo madi yamung arkeni maina habi khibu mayam se aroi boina khoi hojik laibiriba ngasagi khoi discussions de yawbiriba mayam sidagi any comment suggestion any query gumbal leragadi I just open the floor for discussion from any of these participants or any comment gumba suggestion gumba like them habiro tamo be more like bra
mutual area mutual area mutual tadre mutual area yeah I'm mutual area yeah now okay
join together mo MU gi kangu to dalo mapang ga dal sange to ya na problem kale bi male ado to Facebook to di me am yenge to monitor to me mo support to ga halam bale to ado anyway aina sai yamunga tamoga da taba general khoi aina yamunga tamoga as a student of social science the khoi aina CS this like election study gi kari the voting behavior, the nature, the study ma'am, the work in a common pattern, structure. Inside Karabudi, Yamunga Tamoda again a complete suggestion of the name that I could hang that. Dominant over Yamunga Tamoda the economic underdevelopment issue, one of the major issues in the Tamoga Yamunga town. Economic underdevelopment issue. The unemployment we are. Adaida Yamuna within a second customer land reform to show Manipur land revenue the use of agricultural land, shrinking of agricultural land, I think food production economic vision number the Buddhi I could put focus integrated economy in a world we are going to produce of the the conservative thinking the primary sector they consider the economic development not kind of collection economic retired more different opinions the economic development would be maru to ski mama high tare Manipur see unique hill valley divide India hill state versus state with hill kind of classified or planning commission I call the integrated with the speak tawra laibagi type laiba adagi community based identity politics ki segai nerga laibisina economic thinking nataba common interest ni thiba ngamdabagi port adagi armed insurgency or armed rebellion haigara liberation movement haigara armed political movement haigara laiba paya mayam chisu aikho the day in day out affect tawra laiba both in larger politics or social life high issue mayam si economic development in a body generations they are less interested about armed rebellion, armed insurgency, Hill Valley divide doesn't matter. That younger generation aspirations, economic development, employment, and hand Changabra, I know Ubibra Natraga, Changi Hiragan, now had the emotive now, how come to be? See, ladies, how do we reconcile these two aspirations? Second, election a public issue. I don't know the heritage. Yambunga Tambuda, I could the curry suggestion beginning the lady. We have our plan. One is that Nasi Horace Nasi pick up the weapon. We will have lectures on, say, regional politics in nature in the other Karino, Manipur, Adagi. Religion की role in India की politics का global और भी economic और भी electoral process और भी मापान की ओजागी सु या series of lectures इसीलिए निकाले so that public education करा मतेंग वाला बदुगा Manipur की who's who लाइव में हम से invite और सु specific issues as we want to build up because we are thinking about building up public issues. Clarity by the time election clarity on any issue say a document or see the TikTok the concrete voting level that at least we are planning to target some specific constituencies. General specific both part of the two youth certain technique disclose public domain the so that it affects in certain urban constituency where people get to learn hey the public issue that cannot the report karo ina hai target and and kangbu umna the SRO hana kudum karatani kana ta ni either we stop talking about issues we accept psychology that learn helplessness and like my experiment tawraga iti the other experiment tawra su kakana bona ma yar ta kan dal bunga tawraga dum like you see na ba adu bi type da ai koi di psyche man like right khala ga mo like this learn helplessness to apna farm is a break tawraga issue khala base or ga inhan bayana na ba hotna baneva masi hotna ba sida ina yamu ka thawat hang how do we do that how do we go about doing this from now on practically so that we have some impact and public issue have some impact on election. What I say, I economic developments in a younger generation, the aspirations, it's a dominant armed insurgency, Hill Valley divide in the secondary youngster 18 to 35 they want all that they want is their jobs, their well-being. They want KFC, they want to have mall and they want employment. Is that the aspiration? Or do they have other aspiration about the dignity of the state, communal harmony, so and so forth? And is a similar second another more give us some suggestion how concretely we can affect this coming election. Will share Yamun
Agang millennial the Jose Mogi Academy see opportunities not necessarily a government sector at the moment of palm entrepreneurship say for the Manipur I'm thinking company entrepreneurs the if we look into the last about a decade or so there has been a perceptible rise the Madugi environment say if we have a proper environment masih sahokani aduga some aina naha singchi naha da yamna apagi social issues da kari da yamna apagi concern oijaba dum dai tabna te dum dai but generally oina yengba matam da ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ economic issue ꯁꯤꯅ ꯍꯦꯟꯅ important ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯂꯧꯕꯗꯧꯅ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯎꯏ ꯃꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯀꯟꯅ ꯍꯦꯛꯇ scientific ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ canvassing ꯇꯧꯗꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ questionnaire ꯇꯧꯗꯅ ꯇꯧꯕꯗꯤ ꯅꯠꯇꯦ but generally ꯑꯩꯅ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯊꯦꯡꯅꯔꯛꯄ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯏꯆꯥꯁꯤꯡ ꯏꯅꯥꯎꯁꯤꯡ ꯁꯤꯗꯩꯁꯤꯗ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯋꯥꯔꯤꯁꯦ ꯁꯥꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ they are too much concerned about the economic welfare the ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ well-being ꯁꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ social issues ꯀꯔꯤꯒ ꯁꯤꯗ ꯁꯤꯒꯤ social issue ꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯄꯦꯟꯗ꯭ꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯍꯦꯟꯅ ꯋꯥꯡꯈꯠꯂꯛꯑꯦꯕ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ dissatisfaction ꯁꯤ in one side ꯂꯩꯔꯒ ꯑꯇꯣꯞꯄ side-ꯗꯁꯨ ꯑꯩ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯑꯁꯥꯎꯕꯁꯦ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯐꯣꯡꯗꯣꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯃꯁꯨ ꯂꯩ ꯑꯗ hill valley divide ꯁꯤ is very unfortunate ko unfortunate ꯑꯩꯅꯁꯨ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯍꯥꯏꯖꯕꯗꯨꯅꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ land the base ꯇꯧꯔꯒ people the base ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯇꯧꯔꯝꯕꯅꯤ Britishna it was never on land the land ꯑꯣꯟꯊꯣꯛꯈ꯭ರೆ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ 1972 the article 371 C the nakanda if you look into the 1947 regulation it was never a hill areas regulation it was the hill people regulation aduga akhoi rules for the management of the state of Manipur in 1917 ki sidasu hill people ki you know the whole idea see British ki divide and rule policy to kan sida moina khara son basi moina yingchen bigani haidana moigi socialization gi gi mayam amsu leiri madudi ngangna rutra kaimta hodi kanadre that is past history ni ngangna raga hodi chawba henga kadabudani aduna election jida akhoi election commission ama thambadi am pharabneba akhoi public debate by the candidates se mase akhoi mamang da tawba kan sida sida candidate khari lau yade akhoi request also you know the moigi ignorance sing si expose to bom changi aba issue based da haidi mana ngangning da ngawna ta akhoi organizer siliba kambu sina set of questions hangba aduga let him give a reply whether he is competent or not as a public da khanganba masima yam khana change ada akhoi da constituency ki debate tongna halla kan da di akhoi khara afaba khara gyan ta ba sidum mina masa khangdi gani na ai khalle adu natraga di akhoi na election commission ko mara cm dra kan da di mandatory oidra di tawai hata yate the person who is slightly weak or who is less knowledgeable asi lau yate aduna akhoi na see akhoi na pame di enlightened ruler ama pamane enlightened ruler do lehen gi hai taraga di enlightened oiba mi ngakna vote ka ki base darkar layaba madu identify to basima akhoi changi masima akhoi pressure dum piba yai ada hodi Manipur ki situation ji yam nuai ba jane yam nuai jane de is very akhoi flux da leba yam interesting oi jane akhoi gi sociology ki chhatra gumba kari gumba yam da study to ba nuai ba period ne ba akhoi ji kari no akhoi samra ngamra kai tu ni akhoi ji yam unsettled oi ba akhoi gi apam ba siwa hai ba ngam da ba gi akhoi gi situation amada adum leiba dong na ai ui COVID-19 lakpa kan sida sida na amuk ka hena you know the me they have become so much frustrated game doesn't confined to the sang le rabagi frustration to wa adagi people get relaxation ji tv yang manatana direct ba lyric pa ba habit sema unfortunately it is a dying art where lyric pa sema very few is reading akoy mi khara da ngai ri hai ba tare ade adi lari para kan de akhoi khange ba mi ge lam da krai de kai to ge kholi ge ji khange what is happening around the world hai ba si akhoi globalization ki global village ne hire consideration what is happening around the world khang re kan de I cannot be a part of that globalized society or globalized economy the be more high ba de yam lu re akhoi ki high ba de panglai lai na high ba yai ko du ba torok matam de when it comes to when we come to the practicality masi yam thira lui ba akhoi na vote or pa kan se sida nasai akhoi ge Pradip na hai yam chumi akhoi ge di ideology based am tanate ada ai ni yam toina question tawjabani a party, when there is no intra-party democracy, how can they, when they form a government, they can function democratically? I have questioned it many times. Ako'y president siya, ako'y member may half any political party, they were nominated, the president is nominated. There is no intra-party democracy. Then how do you expect a government formed by such party to become a democratic when a function to was ikara luganevo. And the hojiki akoina smaina tawduna akogi public awareness akoi build up tawbudi daka like the masi yaro haisi yam defeaters oiba attitude tawtaragade akogi society si mangi tabe akogi yamna akogi defeaters oitaragade akogi society mukitane Pradip na kasai thambi question si akogi their civilization the history is example level. Sigum mayamam legre. Aduna akoy kitang understand tawba the change pamba for the better pamba kangbu sina de yaro haiba city akoy masidi sumoy deputy soy the city successful oiba society soy oiroy. Akoy we have got a traditional strength, the traditional resilience. We can do it. I am a incorrigible optimist. We still have a future, provided if we have a charismatic leader, a born leader, yes, then it becomes much more easier. Unfortunately, Manipur is totally bereft of charismatic leaders. They talk there, first state leaders, nothing I way, and I might come to give him.
Tamogi person Sujit, I'm taking your permission. I just put a recorded like a policy that don't go out of the website to the organization conversation there. Tamoda was same question, Jinaina Tamo participation for the curry suggestion concrete. Yamuna say practicality is level concrete level the curry egg against the dictum the Matau Yamuna cyber intra-party like the say or political system witness, electoral system witness all over India like Atopa states in the ideology of BJP guidance like Congress and like the central level of the state the ideological factor in Yaw. I mean to assume that BJP Kumba RSS Kumba committed principle Yaw the ideology Yaw the Hindi project Yaw the Sumlaki party ne have the land and this is a very principal party with ideological project. Who talks and Bagiwani Kashmir National Conference of going thorough work of me as a Muti Kambu was full authority to more user. Manipur the party is principle and ideological job. A quite kunai Katanga and Kaleva ideological job, which I could witness the party to I don't know. CBI Kangde, BJP Kangde, Congress, Kangde Manipur, the Apopo character, Yahweh Harriet, a character or less in the way of anyway, I don't know, a Makunchi practical law that are more around in the same question. What are steps that you think that we can do? Public issues here, operate on about elections. I do not open and say, aspiration there. All that they need is employment and good life, job, aspiration, economic development, socio-political concern, consciousness about generation when the later bra. I the Atopa consider the youth say them, anti-military struggle, Korea story, French story. Most a password of Rao, who is later bra. I do get train la global in a specific about generation, how will even ask including the consciousness all that they want is economic development and jobs. Adura have a more concrete steps that we can take the Tamogi.
We concrete step I can say is a very difficult thing to answer. We can say I have problems. The magnitude of the problem is quite big. It's been happening throughout history. Hope is it again. it has to be met with politics. Maybe not mainstream politics, but it has to be a layered kind of politics that happens at the grassroots, and that is not happening. The example in the Mizoram example can be very good, where grassroots young Mizoram gets bribery, traffic norms. Civil society are diverted into other issues. Another thing is politics too many heavy moments to civil society may answer politics out and so what is the point? We politics to talk whether we mix stance some labor process. See, I'm telling you, I'm going to have a summer number of posts. We see politics to Mdre, see us to Malay, Sangalasi, having to Manam Totar. So we bright away. I think we say identity politics or politics minor young, but say communal I say ground level, grassroots movements, civil society body as a labor matchna, Pull Punsala or already see to focus on both other kinds of individual level looking at Hagi films as a keeper, politician, Piraga, Sakiba, and Lejago. They consider individually correct of high density. There are so many difficulties that First is poverty is so widespread, and when you're poor, sometimes you don't make good decisions. You see your immediate only. Hey, any have some company that which I don't know politics man pay politicians and happy post life. Happy is if 1,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees didn't matter to any of the porter, they did not have being over. See, poverty post Leg I said, I say, mana decisions, bad decision low is my own inclination. There are some compulsions. Have a see like Amazon Palada, we Rutger Bergman, Maggie, Utopia for realists. You guys say, why do the poor make very poor decisions? It's been a study, even for psychologists. And apparently there was an experiment. Sugarcane farmer, ma'am, and sugarcane is something you harvest in one part of the year. So these sugarcane farmers, one part of the year they are rich, one part of the year they're poor. So this is when you're poor, you make all kinds of poor decisions. You borrow money, you drink more, all that kind of thing happen. But when you're rich, even your IQ improved by about 14 points. It seems that rich in the sense that your images are taken care of. We need to be mobilizing at that level as a longer term kind of mobilization, that improving the economy. But on the for the immediate, I think what is necessary is for our civil society bodies. They have to come forward, and then again, civil society also rivalry election system both had consider future quite can't have me proxy the kind of the own genius discovered the quite helpful when you have to consider on them the civil society rules down your prank Adam partisan with the other party other parties both had a consider traffic rules up to the see overtake the Toyaro have see Kanam to the winner partisan with it. My own election is who they have started both lawyer. I said, Amano, you. Both had a consider mobilized over Silicana, both combo, another both President Tosi, having seen mobilized homes. When it says Facebook, as a share Victor, see Risu, Yoruba, influential, so we Karadam Lekaga, grassroots level pushed over them on the way. The sister was the agenda of Jona, here in Tasso, another with one single point agenda, and both the Mizoram example, Mizoram to sometimes it gets a little bigoted. For instance, when they were pushing the language, Dulian language, in the you tried me and the pull up when Dulian Olagam so all again census report already 1960 census, 61 census, the Mizo later, 71 census, the Mizo I had to go and I tried me, but sometimes I try me, disappeared or Wilmot, I didn't wait over. Lushay man, Lushay and Lusay, Lusay Mizo on her. The pull up 1 minute, she got all the pushed over the hands in the Marmiam, target of Jakmamiam, then can target of report pretty away. I do a result, my thought, I do give drawbacks to Kangamina. other than the election I think the civil society movement when it's like Mera Baby and also we should tackle the my daughter mobilize the kinds of the civil society body map, Mera Baby map, which has another quick long term the very kind of let's see longer tradition and like the which has other campaigning the more and election of motors. We have to start from now. We start from now. Maybe you cannot bring result, but at least make it known that it doesn't work anymore. Your ideology, your election manifesto, that is the only thing that will matter. The first, I consider emotive issues. People get dragged away. Then, Pakistan, India, some of the India under siege later saber rattling Pakistan bomb Pulwama bomb there is my who neutral campaign I'm quite sure there will be people on all sides. But that side as well as this side we have 9 when I have the territorial integrity, walking the we don't divert of Zakini. As soon as one has an irrigation, have prop Zakini. I might away more than the Vida. I do it to issue top level. First, let's correct this election, electoral process. And let's elect people who will matter, people who can actually take us to where we want to, at least give us show us a direction where we can go. I might have a music Kanba Hoti, election of the way I had election to get people to get Horga when a correct. Let's start from now. By next election, they should know that nobody will be voted for their Hapai and Tadabi as Hetoroi. Once upon a time, this was there in real terms. If you just look back in history, tiny leader names can Alexander, Napoleon, land we sublimated that there will be no more wars. It'll have to be something else. So that's something else that we have on the corner later. I consider land heavy leader from democracy. I consider current leader. So it should be somebody who, with democracy terms, a statesman should become the leader. Somebody who can actually negotiate problems. So somebody who can who can actually negotiate terms with my neighbors. I don't mean the transition to the acquiring a modo me or see it's just carrying on. It can, if it drags on, it will be dangerous for us. So I think the responsibility has to be on the civil society at every level. There are so many civil societies here, and some are powerful. I think they should be also brought into this campaign to actually correct the electoral process. Forces over the politics. This is not a ball game. We don't believe in Indian election. This is going to just carry on. But this is what is making difference to our lives. See politics. So if we have to first decide whether we should take interest in this politics or else just say no to everything. Amasu participate over suppose to we have to be clear cut. Other clear cut since we cannot be reverting back to the past, we have to start from now. Now, so what is good for us? We have to decide, and once we have decided, then we have to stick to that vision. That the first thing that we have to do is to correct our electoral system, and we have to elect good leaders in the same system. Let's try and correct this electoral system. I think it needs the involvement of organized bodies, organized civil society bodies. It'll be just lost in the wilderness. Voice. So, but it has to be powerful voices, which are actually maybe not participating in the electoral process, but are interested in actually laying the ground for that electoral process to work well. So it has to be various layers of politics. One layer at the top layer are is the electoral system. People are campaigning to win elections and all that. And at the other level has to be people who are ensuring that the electoral process is working well. I think ideology this will be a much larger thing. Maybe it will not happen at all. Individual party proportional representation process. Europe I said Europe. So you both will be voting for the party. So if the party wins a certain percentage of votes, then they will have a certain percentage of deputies in the assembly. Well, they won't be called MPs or MLAs, they will be called deputies. So if that deputy says that I'm disillusioned with the party, I'll go somewhere else. Okay, go. We'll replace you with another deputy. People voted for the party. The party will not lay in the defection and post. Maybe there will be some faith coming back into our electoral system. But that is a larger kind of a change which may not happen. It's also not up to us to actually make that change. But for the time being, for the immediate change, I think it is activism at the civil society level. We may not be campaign election, maybe not even in the next election it will be difficult, but in the course of 1 or 2 or 3 elections, it should come about it should take shape that election are won this way. As we have a different definition of elections. Certain people win election, and those people are not exactly what we want always, but we change the system to make sure that people who are steadfast in what they believe and also who have vision. And you can donate eyes, but not vision. And for that to happen, I think it's a larger participation of the electorate. I mean, I have layered, electorate now, so they will also see themselves as participants, but the intermediary will be the civil society body. That this is what we want. We have to correct the system. Otherwise, we will not survive this, or we will be just left in the sidelines always. Correct dominance and
is it Dr. Brasu Libra question
laye Jabimul.
Within 10-15 minutes, why not council chairperson, chairperson? Is it?
Basically, I totally go with what Pradip has said just now. And in fact, I was about to say before that, just like now, the institutions of the past, they are metamorphosing or they are disappearing. And we certainly see a lot of structural changes happening in Mera Paibis specifically. And so what Pradip was saying that about the civil society, I would say that, just like we have this youth clubs in every locality, why can't we mobilize? And we already have this institution. So to create that intermediary, which will mobilize people, we have to start acting on this. We have to start using this body called the youth clubs in every society. But unfortunately, I don't know why these youth clubs don't have women in them. It's very fascinating. When I wanted to mobilize, and somehow it's not there. And especially in my locality,
politicians in the mobilized.
Yeah, I was about to say that that the youth club has also been monopolized by the local politicians. And also we have to do this thing, that, okay, we vote for certain people for certain party, but how they suddenly change to another party. And I don't know, there are nobody challenges that in the courts. They can just go to any party after getting elected from another party. I don't know whether that's allowed in electoral politics or not. Definitely. But then, I am little optimist in the sense the center is somewhere you know, I don't know what its strategy is, but the fact that our Northeast MPs and MLAs are being recognized and they are being put into, you know, crucial ministries, that is a very interesting development to observe. Why is it happening and how is it happening and what is the intention and all that? So there is a change happening in the electoral politics, and the center, I'm not talking about the party, but the center, how it is seeing Northeast is also changing. I'm observing that, you know, and so definitely we need newer institutions and civil society. Hanagi civil society, I don't, you know, we need to create, you know, a civil society which can actually take up this issue, the main issue as the electoral reforms and the electoral awareness, rather than any other agenda. And also, you know, if you have noticed that still people are not coming out of the fact that we need to make people accountable for drains, for electricity, for water, for roads. Nobody wants to talk about that. And if we talk about that, it is considered as if we are talking some petty things, you know, and but this is the actual governance, if, so to say. They are supposed to do that to us. They are supposed to give us as citizens. We are paying taxes. But somehow these issues, as if these issues are not really, and public toilets, I mean, go to university, you go to this secretariat. I wonder why people want to become IS officers and smell urine all the way in the offices. You know, these things somehow they're not coming into fore, and as if they are not issues. For a civilized society, we need to address these issues also. May not sound very academic, but you know, as a citizen, that's what I feel.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable suggestions and comments. Tamo bimol makha se kamaina adum atai comment lang.
Surjit, akhoi chat ta Vijay Lakshmi na question ama hang bane ba. I reply ama I pijage.
Hoi pibiro yam.
Akhoi dinosaur when legadra cockroach when legadra hai se. My analogy will be from science because I am a student of science. A successful species ever say sang a labor to never. Other akhoi na mu with the word kanso akhoi ki society is a queen labor do never quite a palm say. He listening a history later. We want another 2,000 or 5,000 years for the Manipuri history to continue. As a part of the India, the adaptations in quite a maru say. The analogy is I'm going to kill over my hick amalere, Salsi or Vituze. This is the variant hole. Variant hole is a quick viewpoint that the variant say, the enemy now. But from the viewpoint of the virus, it is a very successful mutation now. The continuation of the species. Dinosaur cockroach, we have to be successful. We have to challenge the system. Youth club the P out there have the Lakshmi there. In my local club, my sister Musna was the secretary for 2 terms. She was there. Aduna Adam Yaw in the piecing say if they are motivated and they are willing to work for the society, if you are working in the locality, then there is no problem. She was secretary for 2 terms.
That's very nice, but I don't think this is a very general trend, Yampung.
In many of the women are there. I had gone around in around more than 300 localities, and the young girls' participation was in the COVID-19 awareness campaign. The young girls' participation was very good, and in some places the whole program was conducted by the girls. There's a whiff of change in the society. The PK role with education and all. I think that there are some changes. Civil society organization Mera paivi kadi kasi khala restructuring torakpagi mong ama atam ui, maybe for the better or maybe for the worse. Madadi hujik, it may be too early to comment. Akwai Bimol City, akwai mass mobilization am this change, akwai Pradip na hybrid vina. Aduna pragati akwai na TV dangang ba khot pasinadi, it doesn't cut ice. Siki mobilization si akwai na party ki na tabo. Paisa logduna vote hada haiba. Na tera paisa logro gasu akwai di power mi khalu haiba. Akwai di power mi di kumai khan ka dagi hai kada. That will be a public debate. Madu tauraga debate or halaganda. Incompetent. I have seen political leaders who are just totally unaware of what is happening around the world. This is pathetic. What is Hayada? The difference in the intellectual capacity is so limited. Aduna mohoidagi innovative oibo wakhalon kind of Manipur needs lots of innovative ideas because we have got so many challenges. Aduna run of the mill gi mina saliva kandadi conflicts adum sum hengalakane. Aduna apawami humfu karagadi apawami tarani thoina sarkar pai matamda apawadi dum khara tholakane. Aduna tanadi akwai future si layoeba. Aduna akwai local gi level la mobilize the youth ki kari gi tauba sima akwai yam kanna sangi na khalli aduga even restructuring tauba and Pradip na sa hybrid yam chumme ba akwai na politics yauro hai the politics yaudda bari swa ya te ba aina sarkar thabak taw matam sida akwai gi SP Goswami Chief Secretary sina tawe ana mana egonda sanakwa the politics ki maramda kai no I am disinterested in politics mana no you as a bureaucrat you can never be divorced from politics. You may not indulge in politics, but you have to be aware of politics. And mana egonda advisory to me madu mane if you don't know constitution then you are not fit to be in the bureaucracy and a constitution power ho aduna akwai si politics is involved. Everybody has to be involved in politics. It may not be electoral politics that day, but for Rajniti system mama like nobody akwai loy tamak te hot mong three and I find that thamsege.
Thank you, Ambong, for your thoughtful ideas again. Taumbe mo ako'y makata na continue to wala naman sila sila kamay ko.
Babina the pure man.
Okay.
Listen na ba? Hoy. No I say Lakadori bus election worry happy dole.
Yare ay yare.
Thank you. PCRM na sindari ba ihan han ba panel discussion public issues and electoral politics reflections on the forthcoming Manipur Assembly elections the panelist oina labi ba Oja Singh Mingwen Panjaraputa Oza Nimai Oza Pradip Phanjoubam Moderator obi ba Oza Surjit amadi panel discussion sida Sarup yabi ba Oza Bija Lakshmi amadi Oza Bimol Pumnam Makpu Thagat Paga Loinana Ngasigi Oinadi Matang Swai Sida Loisenjare. We're looking forward to many more conversations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.